Hi everybody, today I'm just going to race through my Captain Beefheart collection. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of his extra stuff which is essential to own. Anyway, this is where it all started, of course. Safe as milk. I've shown this before in my rarest records. This is the first press. And on Buddha, superb condition, and coming with the sticker. £5 in a charity shop. But anyway, it's one of the best debut albums of all time. We all know it. I'm not going to spend long on these. I'm going to talk about other things as we go along. Great album, of course. Absolutely essential. Not a duff track on it. This is a UK reissue, kind of cheap repress, and they renamed it Dropout Boogie. And fantastic pressing though, superb sound on that. Let's see, I want to get the mono original of Safe as Milk. I have the Sunday CD. I'd like to get the original mono of that because the sound would be phenomenal. Just before they did Safe as Milk, they actually were recording live in 1966, and on this there are extra tracks which are not available on the Grow Fins box set. This is an essential thing to have if you're into blues, into the early Beefheart sound, more like the Mirror Man sound and Strictly Personal sound, but without any effects. This is killer stuff. Side one, I call it side one. On the vinyl it's side one, but it's about 26 minutes worth of stuff. Is why I haven't pulled the trigger on it, because I'm a bit skeptical. There's that, but definitely worth getting. Let's have a look. Also, of course, some of his singles I couldn't locate. I've got a copy of Yellow Brick Road, and I couldn't locate it. Here's a copy of Moonchild with Who Do You Think You're Fooling on the B-side. Great stuff. Absolutely awesome. And the power and the sound of that single, incredible. Anyway, you can see there's this stuff everywhere here. I'm going to kind of find my way as we go. Next up, Strictly Personal. This is a Stereo UK. Doesn't open on the inside. On Liberty, now you can see it's unbanded. No banding there. It all looks like one track on each side. I also have the mono. Now the mono is the way to go. It's absolutely stonkingly good sound. There are a few mono records which are essential things to own. Piper Gates of Dawn being the one of the other ones. Absolutely killer. An original mono. You see this is banded. Wonderful sounding record though. These Liberty albums were just superbly pressed. That of course is a great record, and I think it's overlooked. It tends to be overlooked. I think people tend to think they go from Safe as Milk and then straight on to Trademark's Replica, which we have coming up now. This is a 70s repress. Just died just recently. Beefheart's cousin, famous for the Fast and Bulbous speech. I'm not going to talk about it. It's absolutely sublime. Here's a fantastic little book on Trademark's Replica in the 33 1/3 series. This is a great thing to buy and have a read through, and it'll give you a different appreciation for the album. The CD has been deleted. A few years ago, Zappa.com, or Volternative Zappa Records I should say, Volternative, released what actually Third Man Records repressed onto vinyl. This is remastered by Bob Ludwig, I believe. And this is the way to go. You know, I'm showing CDs. I have the Third Man record as well. This is the way to go. It's still quite pricey. These discs are quite pricey, £20-30 each. But it's well worth it because it gives you a whole new angle on Trackmaster. You thought you knew it, and there are stuff here you've never heard before. Definitely worth picking up. This is a UK straight original. I'm flicking to get something because I've just remembered of one thing I've forgotten. That's preparation for you. It's the Grow Fins box set. Now, people have this on vinyl. You can get the 3 volumes on vinyl. I bought this when it first came out years ago. It's still a very beautiful item. Lots of lovely literature, and the discs all housed in the back. This has essential outtakes from Trackmask and from the period before Safe as Milk, the Trackmask sessions here, and Grow Fins is a kind of 1960-1982, a compilation of different things, stuff off Lick My Deagles Off Baby and things like that. Absolutely classic. It's not the sort of thing I really want to get on record because I know I'd be having to pick up the needle to play the tracks that I like best, because some of it of course is, you know, kind of the quality's ropey a little bit. It's fascinating, but not the sort of thing you play every day. But as a Beefheart nut, you have to have it. Then we're flicking on, I say flicking, to Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band, Lick My Deagles Off Baby. Still, here's the lyric sheet. It's a fold out lyric sheet. On straight, this is the first press. Lovely copy as well. Probably my favourite, I always say it's my favourite album. Here's, I had this years ago, 30 years now, a bit of a battered promo version on the white promo label. Straight, excuse my finger. Great album. And this is something a bit different you don't see every day. Never seen it before since I found this one, and I thought I've got to have it. Because some of these original early 70s cassettes, this is from 1973, sound incredible, and this does sound amazing. I've got some other stuff, Black Sabbath and things like that, early ones, Led Zeppelin, and they sound better than the LP. And so does this. This is just great stuff. Really glad to find it. Almost impossible to get. After all of that is Mirror Man. It's an original copy from Buddha Records. Not my favourite album. It's kind of like everyone knows about it. I'm not going to go into big details about this stuff. This was released after the event. A lot of the best, I mean, Beefheart said that he didn't like the mixing on the Strictly Personal, as everyone knows. Later interviews suggest he actually did like it, and he actually agreed to it. There's a lot of apocrypha around Beefheart, but we'll go into a little bit of that. This is a really good album to listen to from time to time, but for me it hasn't got the extra edge and what I like to hear, which is the angular stuff and a bit more versatility and variation. Long jams, but I mean they're good, but they're not the same as the kind of stuff I like. I'm just going through this stuff. You can get all the extra stuff. This is a twofer, extra tracks, which were released by Sundays in a plain brown wrapper album, and here they are. You can get everything extra that you need in this little set. all the different versions, etc., etc. I'm just rambling. I just picked all the albums out here and just thought I'll go for it. I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying. Here is a copy of Spotlight Kid. This is an original with a nice thick card lyric inner on reprise. These were of course all released fairly recently. Oops, I'm dropping everything here. Together in the Sun Zoom Spark box set. Now this particular set also has a superb album of outtakes, a lot of instrumentals, but absolutely wonderful and well worth listening to. There's all sorts of different stuff on here. I also have a CD version. Comes with a booklet, of course, same as the other one. The booklet is exactly identical, same size even. They probably thought, well, instead of making bigger ones, we'll just put the same size in the big box, but it doesn't really work. There they are inside. Then we move on to Clear Spot. This is not the first press. I've never found a copy which is really good condition. This is not. I've had this for absolutely years. One of the first things I ever bought with Beefheart. I've never ever replaced it. It's just a reprise. It's not the first, I think it's the second press. This is where the production took a huge leap forward. Beefheart was always moaning about the production and trying to change things up, and eventually he went to actually, let's see if we can do something here, instead of making everything sound like it's recorded in a cardboard box, which some of those earlier albums do. This is superbly, I mean magnificently produced, and let's have a look on the back here. Ted Templeman, that was it. That was, I was trying to think. I think he went on to do Van Halen and people. This is just set apart by the wonderful, wonderful production. And this, of course, a lot of people say is the inroad album for a lot of people who've never heard Beefheart before. And he's got some weird stuff on here, but also the production just lifts this to another level. There's also a couple of really quite beautiful songs. Too Much Time, Her Eyes Are a Blue Million Miles, and great, great stuff. Now after that, he kind of took I'm going to go down the commercial route, as everyone knows. I'm just going to show these two. I haven't bought these on vinyl because I don't think I can bring myself to spend money on them and just play one track of each, because I only like one or two of each. This one I perhaps like a bit more, actually. There's some better stuff on here. If I find them cheap, I will buy them, but I'm not going to pay any money for them. After that, we come to this. Now this was also released on Volternativezapper.com. This is the original back chain puller as it was intended to be before those issues with the record company and all sorts of shenanigans. Now this has some similar tracks to Shiny Beast back chain puller, which came out a couple of years later, but they're all very different versions. This has no trombone for a start. This is all, it's got bass in it, and it's a lot heavier, a lot more dense sounding and intense. There's spoken word stuff on here. I think it doesn't work as well as an album. I think it was better that he had the time off and created the other album. This is absolutely essential to have though. There are some great versions of tracks on here, some of my favourite tracks, Back Chain Puller being one. You notice how many songs he's done about trains. There are so many songs he's done about locomotives. Ode to Alex, this version just wipes the floor with any other version I've heard. Absolutely killer, killer. One thing I'm going to show while I think of it, if I can find it, is my, I think I've lost it, I need to load it. Somehow or other, here we go. This is Van Vliet's signature, picked up on this day in 1973 by someone who was interviewing him for a small magazine I bought this off a guy a few years ago. He didn't have a record with him, but he was interviewing him in the afternoon, spent some time drinking with him, and got him to sign the Virgin promotional sticker. Wonderful thing to have, very hard to come by, and he even put a little doodle as well later on apparently. And great to find. You don't see his signature very often, so I just thought I'd show that. Okay, I'm thinking kind of poorly on my feet here. One thing that is essential from around the mid-70s is this live. Now I'm showing something never done before on the VC. I do not have the CD version of this. There's a lot of bootlegs around called Live at My Father's Place. Now Live at My Father's Place is an absolutely stellar, superb gig where he's a banter with the audience and there's all sorts of great moments. This is the only version that's mastered at the correct speed. All the others are bootlegs and they're all mastered too slowly. This was released by Rhino. It's a 2 CD thing. It's like a 3-track bonus single CD to get the complete concert. And this is the one to have. I've bought the MP3 years ago for like $3.99, but you can't get it for less than like £40 or £50 for the CD. If I can get it cheaper, I will buy it. That is a killer live gig, definitely worth getting. Okay, Shiny Beast, as it turned out, one of the best albums for me, top 3, top 4 Beefheart albums. I'm not going to talk about it. This is an original US. I went for the US because of this. This is the inner. I mean, the record should go inside it. You do not get in the UK copy. Okay, a couple more albums. Followed up with Dock at the Radar Station. This is, for me, has got one of the best sides he ever did. Your hot-haired ashtray heart, a carrot is as close as a rabbit to gets to a diamond, run paint, run, sue Egypt. Brilliant. And then Dirty Blue Jean, which is a track he actually recorded many years before, a different version of it, and this is sublime. It's quite a hard album to listen to, I think, but when you're in the mood, that's just superb, as I keep saying. Here's his final album, Ice Cream for Crow. Different band, of course. This is where it all ended. This is Virgin. Great album, of course, but not, for me, not his best. And there are some great tracks on here, but again, I think he's used some of the stuff like 81 Poop Hatch, The Thousands and 10th Day of a Human Totem Pole, which were originally on that back chain puller. So there's a bit of going back, and also, I mean, some of the tracks are great, of course, but for me, it's not the fitting swan song that it could have been. Okay, now then, there are various things you can get Beefheart related. Here is a superbly curated compilation. Nice crack on it. With a lovely booklet, quite informative, and a superb sounding disc. This is absolutely superb. Again, Rhino. Well worth getting. Nice to have click clack on there. Some of his live stuff. This is Don's birthday party, his 40th birthday. It's a mono recording, but it's a very good recording. And you can see by the track listing, it's a great lineup of songs and a really excellent gig. Excellent also, Amsterdam 80. Another superb gig, good quality sound. These are essential. These are the only ones that are worth getting. All the rest are terrible production. There's a company called Ozit or Ozit who released incredibly unlistenable records, and these are the only ones that are worth getting. There aren't really any vinyl versions of these which are actually good quality. Again, Mersey Trout. This is a live in Liverpool 1980. Another great gig and superb sounding. And this is a Toronto broadcast 1981, one of the last live things you can get. And this is also perhaps something of the best sounding of all. You can get Ashtray Heart on vinyl. Wonderful stuff. I'm just going to look at a few books. This is quite a common book. This is Mike Barnes's Captain Beefheart, the biography. All the usual information in there, but a few erroneous details, facts about Trout Muscat aren't true, etc., etc. But you know, everyone assumed to be so. That was until this book was released by John French, Beefheart Through the Eyes of Magic. And this has absolutely everything you could ever possibly need to know. It's huge. There's all the interviews by John French with all the other band members, all the details, all the facts, all the memories, everything is in here. There's some repetition, of course, and he's just written it all out, almost like they've dictated it and he's written down as well what they've said, and also he's put in all sorts of other information. This has everything. This also, definitely essential. This is Zoothorn Rollo, the great guitar player himself. His book is Bill Harker wrote, of course, Lunar Notes. This covers all of his time in the band and how he saw the band and how he rates the albums and the tracks as well. It's really interesting to see him personally talk about those things. The Lives and Times of Captain Beefheart, at Babylon Books. This is kind of like a compilation of like a fanzine thing almost, but all sorts of interviews and articles from the 70s. That is great. Cheap. It's fairly cheap to get because it's only a kind of paper thing, but it's really worth having. And A Carrot is as close as a rabbit gets to a diamond. These are interviews and texts from 1966 to 2001. All sorts of different things in here, and again, really fascinating to see Beefheart and the way he develops and the things he says and some of his humour. Great stuff. All of this stuff could be found online if you looked hard enough, but to have it all in one place, very nice indeed. Anyway, I believe that's everything. I've probably forgotten stuff. I know I haven't really gone into any detail. I've kind of blurred and even gone looking for grove fins at one point. But anyway, that's some of what Beefheart is about, and hopefully you enjoyed that. And maybe I'll do another video soon. Cheers.